Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Hardcore Soft Skills Podcast, Skill Coaching Series. In these episodes, instead of the interview with an expert, I focus on providing actionable advice you can apply to get better at a specific skill. Today, let's talk about the thing many of us dread or enjoy: meetings. If hearing the expression, let's have a meeting, makes you cringe, you are not alone. Why? Because you and me have been part of some terrible meetings. Meetings which should have been an email, long meetings where only one person is talking, meetings that seem to go on and on. You know which ones. Should we ban meetings altogether? Well, not at all. We should be able to have decent and good meetings. During one of my podcast interviews, I spoke with Steven Rogelberg, and he's an organizational psychologist who has focused on the science of meetings. He said that meetings can be a place for gain, not drain. Good meetings help us be more engaged with our jobs and create psychological safety through communication. Bad meetings are just a waste of resources and cause significant stress. If you are one of those people who believes that the more meetings you attend, the higher the status you're in, congratulations, I guess, looks great on paper, but you are doing yourself a disservice. Research says that back to back meetings reduce your ability to focus and engage. If you want to be a good manager and a good team member, you must develop the skill of having a good meeting. This is a skill that you need as a meeting planner, but also as a meeting attendee. You have the power to influence a meeting outcome. So let me tell you 6 reasons why your meetings suck and what can you do if you are the facilitator or even the participant. These apply for both in-person and virtual meetings. Number one, the meeting has no purpose or goal. Before you get a meeting scheduled, ask yourself, why am I scheduling this meeting? If your answer is to give a status or see what everyone is up to, but you do not expect questions, collaboration, then this meeting can be an email. If you are used to having this meeting every week, every day, consider the why. What can you do as an attendee? Just ask the facilitator, why is this meeting for? This may take some by surprise and you can get more clarity or help organizer think through, do we really need this meeting? Number 2, your meeting has the same agenda week by week. Just because you have an agenda, your meeting can still be terrible and useless. Instead, have an agenda with a purpose. Another tip that Steven Rogelberg shared with me was that you can think of an agenda item as a question to be answered. For example, instead of discuss app status, say questions like, how will we complete the app? And have a discussion around that question. As an attendee as well, you may want to ask the organizer what exactly the agenda items are so you can be prepared and even decide if you really need to be at that meeting. This brings us to number 3. You have too many people or the wrong people in the meeting. According to research from Stanford, the magic number is 7 people. As the number of attendees grow, people are less engaged. Fewer than 5, on the other hand, can evolve into groupthink or a meeting where everyone thinks the same ideas. This can vary per situation, but as you decide the meeting size and attendees, think of these questions. Do you really need the whole team on the meeting if it's not for collaboration and feedback? Do you have the decision makers in the meeting, or will you end up restating the same content later? If you are a participant, ask the question, do you need me? I know it may be an ego defeat for some of you who may think, are you sure you don't need me there? Or the opposite, you want to be left alone. But attending the meeting will certainly be a great contribution to help a project move along. Be a good team member and participate. Number 4, you fail to engage people in the meeting. Please refrain from doing all the talking unless, of course, you are giving a status. But if you call for a meeting, be open for a lot of time for questions. Think of questions to keep people engaged or divide tasks so everyone has a way to participate. Make it pleasant for everyone. You spend a long time at work already. Why be miserable in a meeting? If you are an attendee, try to keep engaged as well. Find ways to ask questions and figure ways to get something out of this meeting. This is particularly useful if you work remote, since meetings are the way you can connect with colleagues and learn from them. So see this as an opportunity to exchange ideas. Number five, the reason why your meetings are no good. You have no takeaways, no follow up actions. I am sure if you ask right now what was the result or takeaway from a meeting you attended this week, you probably have a few different versions from different people. Do not waste your time. Make sure your meeting has a clear takeaway and summary at the end and that everyone knows what to do next. I do this as an attendee, and trust me, this technique is great. I offer at the end of some meetings to summarize, and in some cases, I can see some faces of confusion trying to figure out what was really said or which were the do outs. So ask to make sure there is a clear takeaway. Lastly, you have too many ad hoc meetings. This creates confusion, and let me give you two examples. If you are in the military, you may be familiar with the concept of battle rhythm. This refers to the cycle of command and activities intended to synchronize operations. It consists partly of a series of meetings. The whole point about a battle rhythm is that meetings happen at a specific date and time every week or every day based on the meeting. This is a great example of discipline because if you are in a military organization, there is so much going on that trying to figure out when or where is the next meeting is a waste of energy. Another example is in the Scrum framework. There is a daily short stand up, weekly or bi weekly sprint reviews. These are all designed to ensure the focus of the developers on the team is on problem solving and not doing staff coordination. So please try to keep a schedule and stick to it as necessary. So let's recap. Have a meeting goal, make a fresh agenda with questions, keep the right number and the right people, keep people engaged, recap with takeaways, and keep a rhythm of meetings as necessary. So, whether you work remotely or in person, by following these steps, you can start improving your meetings or at least influencing others to ensure meetings become enjoyable. Hope this was useful for you. And if so, please rate and review the show going to to your favorite podcast app. And also make sure to sign up to my newsletter to get more resources via hardcoresoftskillspodcast.com. Thank you for listening.